I'm about to be attacked by a dog and a cat. They're both in the Zwift room. This is amazing. If only we weren't a podcast and we had video.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to a very special edition of the Pinktron. And the reason it's very special, we will come on to in a moment. But just to start us off, what's everyone drinking today?
So I'm drinking a 10 Bitter Years IPA.
Is that how long have you been married for?
Longer than 10 years.
Just checking. I have a Birra Moretti. Becca?
Yeah, to be honest, I was eating my dinner in the middle of starting this, so I actually don't have any drinks, but I would actually quite like to finish my food.
And let's go over to Steve. Steve, what are you drinking?
Currently drinking pain. I'm joining you from the lovely 8% gradient on Helicom. So I'm drinking a load of Reed Words James Bailey. And yeah, I'm going to be drinking a lot of water in a minute.
So this pain you're drinking, is that alcoholic or non-alcoholic?
At the moment, it's purely induced by my bike and stupid James Bailey.
Oh, okay. That's a very special brand. So, just to come on to what Steve is doing, this weekend, it is the final weekend of our series. Generally, on the final event, I like to put on something a bit special, and this time round, it's up to 10 laps of the Watopia Heli route, depending on your category. A's do 10 laps, B's do 9, C's do 8, and D's 7. Race distance is 92 kilometres for category A, 83 for B, 74 for C, and 64 for D. As if a race distance wasn't enough, there's also 2 fastest free segment primes each lap. The Heli KOM, which Steve is on at the moment, and the Watopia Sprint. Let's head over to our course reporter for some insight into the course. Steve.
Well, thanks, James. So you start in stupid Watopia with the stupid marina, and you go out of that, the stupid com, under the stupid bridge, around a stupid hairpin, and found another stupid hairpin, and then it's a bit flatter, about 7%, up to the stupid top of the com, which is a bit I'm on the moment. Then you go downhill, and there's a bit where you could do super tuck, but stupid James, you've not made it long enough. Then we wiggle through some rollers. You hit a cobbled section before the long sprint at the tunnel entrance, hold it to the bridge, and then there's a little 6% kicker. Do some rollers and you're back to me. I'm going to die in a minute.
Judging by the very detailed description of the route, Steve, it's almost like you've actually done it already about 7 times.
Yeah, this will be lap 8. Thank God for that. It's so hard.
Well done. It's a really, really, really long race. So, just to the other guys, knowing that Steve has done a bike change, is probably about to do another one just to keep me on my toes. Do we feel...
now, James. I got cramped last time I got off the bike. I think it's too risky.
Fair enough. So, on that note, Becca and Craig, do we think there is any value at all in doing a bike change, or is Steve just a bit daft?
I mean, if you're by yourself, then yeah, sure, TT bike for the sprint and then a lighter bike for the climb. But I mean, aim to get some teammates and ride it together, even if you split up at the primes and then get back together for the rest of the lap, because it's going to make a world of difference if you've got friends with you. So I will be going Pinktron and I will not be doing any bike changes.
Pinktron for me as well, Craig?
100%. It's the Tron or 2 bike swaps per lap. I don't think there's really anything else. I mean, if you don't have the Tron yet, it's the most aero bike you've got, but it's a beast of a course. So, I mean, my first point in my preview notes is we're all going to die. But on strategy, I mean, there's kind of 3, maybe 4 strategies. So there's race for position and react to the group. Stay with the fastest people you can. Race for position, but even pace. Basically, pick the pace you think you can repeat and keep going. Hammer the primes and city and everywhere else. So try and stay with a group, but if you can't, that's where the 2-bike change comes into play. And kind of the last one is just survive. Maybe do a couple primes, but just ride. Get to the end.
So just to clarify, the bike swap is only worthwhile if you are just trying to hammer the primes with no one around you at all, because the amount of time you're going to lose on the bike swaps will mean that you wouldn't be able to stay in any sort of group.
Absolutely. I mean, and if you are in any kind of a group, or even if there's just people around, get into a group of somebody for the sprint and just tootle around else. Other than that, it doesn't have to be people in your category.
Yeah, and on that, Steve earlier on was in a nice gruppetto of a bunch of Bs. I think there was Lee Hodgson, Vicky, Rachel. I think there was one other person, Steve?
Yeah, there was definitely one other person. I can confirm that. On the bike swap, I started with the same aim as Becca, so I started Pinktron, and then as soon as I tried to catch the A train, tried to catch the B train, most laps just tried to measure my effort so the faster riders, I got them for the sprint, because I think that's where there's the most value in the draft for me. And then about lap 5, I'd exhausted. That's when Vicky and Co joined me and dropped me. I went to the TT bike. However, you've got to go so fast up the comp. I don't think it's worth it. I was gaining about 40 seconds a lap on the flat sections, and a chap in front of me doing similar watts per kilogram, and losing it all again on the climb. So, yeah, I just think you've got to pick a bike and stick to it. And I'm definitely in Craig's last strategy at the moment, which is 5.7 k's to go and try not to pass out on my bike.
Good plan. Just having a look at what we've got to look forward to over the course of the week. Obviously, today, tomorrow, and Sunday, we've got this race with up to 10 laps of the hilly route. On Sunday and Monday, we've got the herd of mountain goats, which is a single lap of Innsbruck UCI and the 487 metres of climbing that will offer. So Mountain Goats is our climbing series, which is a 10-week series. This will be week 8. Sorry, yes, it is week 8. No, it's not, it's week 7. And so it's a 10-week series with 5 routes repeated twice over the course of a series, all climbing ones. And on Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, we have the final race in our Stampede series, which is our no draft individual time trial. That will be a single lap of Everything Bagel, which promises to be particularly horrible. On Tuesday, we have event number 4 of our ladies only category racing series, the Herd Sheeries, and that's going to be a custom route on the mountain route in Watopia. So the A's and the B's will finish at the top of a radio tower, and the C's and D's will finish at the Epic KOM banner. On Wednesday, Thursday, we have the final race in our Bullseye series, which will be 12 laps of LaGuardia Loop Reverse. This is a points race, and you score points for your position in your category at the end of each lap, with up to 50 points available per lap, and up to 100 for the final lap. So that's everything for next week.
Just going back to the strategy for the HSRL, James, I think the chaps and the Bs played a blinder. They were all waiting for each other after sprints at the top of the climb. So you're just so much quicker in the draft, especially in the sprint. If 5 of you all sprint together, you're just going to do a faster time than 1 or 2 people sprinting on their own. So I think there is some kind of cool team tactics we can do this week.
And I think also it will make the laps go a little bit quicker as well.
Exactly.
But yeah, definitely something to look for if you are racing this weekend. Try and stay in a group as much as possible. And it looks like Steve's just about to find someone from the what's a B rider in Team Vegan who is now about 10 meters behind. So maybe Steve, if you can hang on for a little bit to get you up to the sprint.
Very generous way of describing someone from Team Vegan about to ride past me.
Yeah,
Which
probably.
they have, yeah.
Ben probably arriving as you were on a 5% hill probably wasn't the best of timing.
I don't think the hill's got anything to do with it. My legs are going round at one pace now. That pace isn't going to change, whether I want it to or not. I'm a little bit worried when I sit down, my legs will still be going round at this pace because they're kind of locked there.
You were so nearly there. You've done brilliantly. So I guess.
Oh, sorry, James. What are you thinking feeding strategies this week? It's a longer than normal ride. We were discussing this before we got in. I've gone 2 bidons and half a banana today. Although I eat before I ride. So, what about you folks? What will you be doing?
Just water in the bidons?
The SIS hydrate tablet things.
Becca, you're probably perfectly placed to answer this question. What will you be doing for feeding if you race this weekend?
I wouldn't really take my feeding strategy, to be honest, because compared to most people, I eat a lot on the bike. Like, if I'm doing anything above 45 minutes, I will eat on the bike. So this is like way too much for most people, but I had an ambassadorship with SIS for several years, and I got so used to having all the stuff all the time that now my body just wants all the stuff all the time. So it will be 3 bidons, if not 4, and a handful of gels and or bars, which I will eat as and when I need them. You sort of get, when you start doing more and more long ones, you know what your body wants and when it needs it. So just as and when, really. So I wouldn't really recommend my feeding strategy to anyone else, though. Less is probably better for you.
How about you, Craig?
So I do Gatorade. I mean, for us here in North America, I think it's a lot more readily available than it is the rest of the world. So that's what's in my bottles, and I usually just have maybe a cookie or soda cracker to munch on the downhill every lap. It's not a whole lot, just a bite or two here and there.
So
I think riding like Craig would actually kill me. Like, I would last 4 laps and fall off onto the floor.
Craig may well do that tomorrow.
We'll see what happens.
Yeah, hopefully not, but we'll see. I was just thinking back to the first time I did the Watopia Pretzel route, which is like, I think about 72 kilometers and about 1,000 meters of climbing. It took me 4 hours, about 1.5 watts a kilo, so that probably tells you a bit about how long ago it was. I did it with 4 bottles of four bidons of water and 4 jam sandwiches. So very, very high tech stuff.
Jam sandwiches
By the
are old
marmalade
school
sandwich.
nutrition.
Oh, so I made up old school nutrition all on my own. That's a miracle. Sorry, Steve, what were you saying?
Graham Mabry was powered by marmalade sandwiches and didn't do him any harm.
Not really a fan of marmalade.
I think we should rescind your British passport for that, James.
Well, I think you should also rescind the fact that in one of our chat groups you named me Paddington.
Yes. Oh dear. Well, I have to head to Facebook now. Oh, right. What's next on the agenda? Normally I'm in any way prepared. I'm just watching a 2 kilometre lap counter go down.
It's probably going down really, really slowly at this point as well.
Yeah.
I believe it is time to move on to what's annoyed us most in Zwift. And Steve, I've got a guess that it's probably this race.
Oh no, actually, no. I've got a genuine thing this week. So haven't ridden on Zwift for a little while. What's the best thing about Zwift, James?
Best thing about Zwift is going from Category A to Category B. For the first time.
I'm going to say you're completely wrong there, James. The best thing about Zwift is the community, like the herd, seeing other people out on the road. And what do you do when you see other members of the herd? Obviously, we'd moo at each other, but then you'd wave at each other, wouldn't you? And now, stupid Zwift has changed the UI. So if I've got a power up, I can't wave at somebody. That was very frustrating. You heard my frustration earlier, James, when we were on Discord, didn't you?
It is a very strange thing they've done. They've basically probably had a look at all of the icons and thought, yeah, what's the most useless one we've got, and they've decided on the wave. Whereas, let's be fair, the ride on button is 1, useless, and 2, really annoying for anyone who's riding with you and has the volume turned up.
I don't know. I think the hammer time and I'm toast ones are more annoying.
Yeah, true.
Yeah. I'm with you there, Craig. It's definitely the I'm toast button.
But yeah, no. So I'm really sad that that got removed as well. I think it was the no HUD edition that removed that, which was obviously very sad because whenever I see people wearing a herd kit in a race, in a ride, I like to give them a wave. But yeah, no, that's gone, which is very sad. Becca, has Zwift done anything to annoy you this week?
I haven't ridden on Zwift for over a week, so I can't really say that it's annoyed me. So I don't have anything to say about Zwift other than it's not really interesting me at the moment with the weather like it is. So sorry, Zwift. Traitor, I'm gone outside.
How's your weather? Because it's been horrid today here. It's been raining all afternoon. It's only just stopped.
I went to the BMX track this morning when it was lovely. It's fine now. I wouldn't want to ride
it's one of those days down here in the southwest, Becca, where like the Brits have 40 different words for fine levels of rain. So it's sat between a drizzle and a mizzle for me today most of the day, and then occasionally been overcast. But I don't know if it's been the same down your way.
We haven't had any rain at all, so still sunny here.
Becca Kingdom giving us another reason why it is a good reason to move to the actual southwest rather than the almost southwest that Steve lives in. Craig, has Zwift annoyed you this week?
It has, and this isn't a new thing. So the team time trial, we all love it, and it's still a bit of a hack schmozzle that WTRL came up with, where we all agree to wait a certain number of minutes and then our team will set off. That we still have to manually wait after Zwift has put the team time trial into its own racing series. It's starting to get annoying. Part of this is that I've discovered over the past 2 weeks that because I have not gotten my warm-up in ahead of time, which is normal for me, so during my wait time, I've pedaled backwards. So it turns out with my self-extracting bolt on my FSA energy cranks, that makes my crank arm fall off. So
just going to interrupt you briefly, Craig, because we have 75 metres left in the race of the day, and Stephen Pritchard is at 73.4 kilometres, having climbed 869 metres. He's been going for 2 hours, 20 minutes, and finishes on 16 seconds. Well done, Steve.
Cheers, James. Craig, why don't you go into the pairing screen like everyone else does when they warm up in the pen? Like, I mean, that's what I've heard other people do. I'm obviously still looking for my shoes at this point, but
I usually am as well. So that's normally I get a couple pedal strokes in backwards and don't really worry about it. But there was a rumor that the pairing screen had people still moving forwards yesterday, so I didn't want to chance it.
Just on the team time trial, I remember when the TT module was first introduced, and I got my most liked comment on the forums. I think there was about 4 or 5 of them. And like when they posted
was that 4 or 5 likes, James?
Yeah, it was. Where's my train of thought? Yeah, so they posted the release notes, and I replied, because this is back in the very early days of the WTRL TTT, replied saying, do you think you could incorporate this module for the TTT event we do on Thursdays? And Wes Salmon said, basically, we may do, which obviously, as we know from Zwift and Zune, obviously hasn't materialized. But given how popular the event is and the popularity, as Craig mentioned, of ZRL, and the fact there's normally at least 3 TT events in that, it is a little surprising they haven't done anything to incorporate that sort of thing into the game, which would obviously be a great addition for race organisers. It would be absolutely fantastic, but obviously we can only hope. In terms of me, I don't think Zwift's actually done anything to annoy me, so that's all very good.
I think you make a good point there about the TTT module, because it's, and we've all said before, Zwift is about trying to make it as sort of an accurate and or as capturing the spirit of a bike race, if you like. And I think it does that really well in some places. But like a TTT would be an obvious one, and actually getting people on time trial bikes as well, wouldn't that be cool? But yeah, there we go. They'll fix rowing next, though.
Yeah, we'll see.
I'm about to be attacked by a dog and a cat. They're both in the Zwift room. This is amazing. If only we weren't a podcast and we had video.
Is it normal for dog and cats to be in the same room without attacking each other?
Yeah, they got on quite well, actually, which is exciting. I suppose the cat tolerates the dog, which is, I mean, cats tolerate the presence of any other mortal, and the dog thinks the cat's fascinating, so they do all right. Next week on the Pink Cats and Dogs Show.
I think we have reached the end of our content for the week, so I think...
That definitely does mark the end.
It does.
I just want to say thanks to those who were on Discord earlier. Holly, who joined us from isolation and stomped off up the comm, and people who waved. It was just a great ride. So I'm just going to encourage people to head, if you're doing this James's stupidly long ride, as it's otherwise known, head to Discord, get out on your herd kit, wave to each other. There's real benefits in riding together. It's a buzz riding with other people, isn't it?
Yeah, I think Ramsey and Ernst were on as well. But absolutely, if you are doing this race this weekend, do get on Discord. It will help. It's so long, and doing it on your own, maybe with a bit of music, being able to like have other people to compare levels of suffering to will really, really help.
Yeah, anyone doing 9 AM tomorrow, please join Luke and I on Discord so that we have someone else to talk to. After 3 hours or 2.5 hours, we might get bored of each other.
Well, it's been a pleasure, folks. Thanks for that. I'm going to say good night.
Good night, everybody.
Good night.